Well, you may have missed it because of all the NFL stuff, but President Trump sent out a tough tweet on Saturday about North Korea. And I'm quoting now, just heard Foreign Minister of North Korea speak at UN. If he echoes the thoughts of Little Rocket Man, they won't be around much longer. Now, that prompted this response from North Korea's foreign minister, quote, since the United States declared war on our country, we will have every right to make countermeasures, including the right to shoot down U.S. strategic bombers, even when they are not inside the airspace border of our country. Here now is Claudia Rosett, Independent Women's Forum Foreign Policy Fellow and Forbes.com Foreign Affairs columnist and a sometimes visitor to North Korea. Claudia, should Americans actually be prepared for war with this country?
Unfortunately, David, yes. That's actually where it's heading. And we should not forget that in 1950, when the Korean War broke out, but from the North invading the South, a surprise invasion, we were surprised. And, yeah, you should be, because at this point, it's brinksmanship. I'm looking less at the words. North Korea loves to make all sorts of hyperbolic statements, but the actual capabilities that they've got, they can now reach us with intercontinental ballistic missiles.
But, Claudia, it would be suicide. There's just no question about it. The president wasn't exaggerating when he said essentially we'll obliterate North Korea if they push it to that level. Will North Korea's generals and all the other people in his administration follow this guy to suicide?
Quite possibly, David. I know it sounds crazy, but we have to hope that he will calculate he shouldn't do it. But here's the further problem with this. Even if he doesn't launch a missile at the United States or shoot down an American warplane outside of Korean airspace, in international airspace, he is demonstrating to the entire world what you can do in the way of bullying, threatening, and developing weapons to attack not only our allies, but the United States itself, and get away with it.
Yeah, but Claudia, hold on a second. I got to push back a bit, because what he has not faced before is the kind of executive order that we just saw released last Friday from President Trump, in which he essentially created an embargo, if you will, a financial embargo of North Korea. He's never seen anything like that before. This may have some effect in stopping his ability to get stuff.
David, I wouldn't bank on it.
Really?
The problem is it may constrict him for a while. Sanctions erode. Sanctions are porous. We've had every sign for a generation now that China is not really on board with this. And while they may be looking very eager to cooperate at the moment, our attention will turn to other things.
Wow.
China is a masterful country at evading sanctions. It's what they did big time in Iraq.
Yeah,
they've done it with Iran.
We've seen it happen before. There's no question about it. I have to ask you a quick question, a final question. The president expanding his travel ban to include North Korea, also to include Venezuela, and yet his critics still call this a Muslim ban, even though it now has North Korea and Venezuela, which are not Muslim. How do they see that?
It's not a Muslim ban. What he's trying to do is control infiltration of the United States by very hostile powers, whether non-state actors, jihadi terrorist groups, or in the case of North Korea, North Koreans. Now, not a lot of North Koreans come to the United States. It's more a message in that case, and I hope that they'll waive it for defectors to come here and testify and tell us about the horrors of North Korea. Okay. But if he wants to do something more effective on the North Korean front, David, he should, A, put them back on the list of terrorist-sponsoring states, diplomatically, I mean, and start a push to kick them out of the United Nations, things that they might feel on in the international diplomatic scene. Yeah,
I read your piece on a terrific piece. Let's hope that happens. Claudia Rosett, great to see you, Claudia. Thank you very much.